was your first time to Boston and you were doing your Montessori training for 3 to 6.
Yeah, yeah,
What was that like? I mean, and can you tell me about it? And where were you? And what'd you learn? And
yeah.
I'm
We were
curious.
in Cambridge at
Uh,
Rose Montessori.
uh-huh.
Uh,
Wild Rose Montessori, that's Caitlin Shore's school, right?
yeah, she's
Wow,
amazing.
she's fabulous.
The hospitality, just how they cater to our needs, just
Mm,
really made us to be able to be comfortable
yeah,
uh, in such a new environment. It really took us back to being kids again.
well, that's fun.
By, yeah, it was singing songs and uh, using motor skills, fine motor skills. It kind of took us back to when we were kids and allowed us to kind of like feel what the kids would feel, see what the kids would see, do what the kids would do, while learning how to become practitioners under the Montessori model. So it was a great infusion of like hands-on learning and just high level discussions, a very diverse group of newbies to seasoned educators, teacher assistants to teacher leaders, from as far as New Jersey to as close as a 15-minute ride. So I fully enjoyed it.
That's great. And like when so you went to do this Montessori training,
Yeah.
in this new city we call
Mm.
Boston. What was your like the biggest surprise about the learning? And what was your like, did you have a takeaway? Like, we are definitely going to add this to Our Sun Montessori. Hadn't thought about that. And oh my God, I'm so excited. Like what were the things that you think you'll bring back to your learning?
Definitely the philosophy just around like scholar exploration and so what supporting their education looks like,
Mhm.
and really being intentional of like not getting in the way,
Yeah.
and not trying to make it like so goal and objective driven.
Mhm.
Like really how to better support a student was a great challenge coming from an educational background that is really standards driven, is really test driven, is really assessment driven. So to kind of like step back and to change that mindset was like one of my greatest takeaways. And not just as a teacher, as a parent, um, as a friend, as a brother, like how to better provide grace and space for people to show up as authentic selves and being intentional what they need. So I think one of my greatest takeaways was like empathy, grace, um, outside of just that conversation around the conscious to unconscious, abstract to concrete. I think those were some of the most unique takeaways and most practical ads that I can immediately add as a human, as a community member, and ultimately as a teacher.
So you had said, given your background, the sort of centering students, empathy, grace. Can you tell me like what is your background as an educator? Why are you choosing to do this work? I'm just really curious. How did you get here to Wildflower?
Honestly, it started with trying to cut church, Sunny. My church, we had a Little Lambs nursery,
Mhm.
and they gave out Tootsie Roll Pops every Sunday. And if you volunteered with the younger kids, I didn't have to be in service. So that's how it started. And then in high
All about the
school,
Tootsie Rolls, huh?
all about the Tootsie Rolls,
Always got the Tootsie Rolls.
cherry, strawberry to be exact. And then high school, we had a vocational early child care program. Um, and again, uh, unfortunately, looking for graduating senior GPA, and it ended up being one of my favorite classes. Went to college trying to become a lawyer, and in the first semester was like, this is not for me. I don't want to defend those that are guilty, and I don't want to attack those that are not guilty. And if I'm trying to help my community, what's the best way to do it? In the classroom with kids. So doing the Upward Bound program, the Breakthrough Collaborative program, undergrad, and the Philadelphia Freedom Schools just cemented that passion.
Mhm.
And I taught middle school as soon as I came out, then transitioned to a gender specific high school in Boys Latin, then African Center School and Harambe Institute, which allowed me to teach younger scholars. And then I was given a grow opportunity to get into like the out of school time programming space, the educational nonprofit space, but it drew me back to the classroom. So I've had an untraditional pathway in some ways, it not being my intended major, um, really developing in those undergraduate opportunities. And I presently serve as the correctional director of education for Philadelphia prisons. And that part of my journey was becoming a dean of students at a school that served kids in the foster care and DHS system. I started volunteering with the juveniles on State Road, was asked to sit with the wardens to advocate for our students, learned about opportunity, and that's how I'm here. But it started in the church. It started with my own exploration and where I wanted to be. And I was able to learn about the possibilities of working with young people and seeing the fruit that comes with it. And I've been addicted and in love with education and youth development ever since.
And now you want to open a 3 to 6 program to start called Our Sons. Can you tell
Yeah,
us about your school and what you were thinking that you're going to create with your Wildflower School?
definitely Wildflower is given an opportunity, one, just for us to be able to create our own school. Um, so just thinking about the school, I think about the opportunity, which is liberation. Um, to reclaim, to say our son shows a connection. It shows I belong here. It shows a relationship with something that connects the world. Uh, what we're nurtured from, how we come together, what we all depend on, and thinking about my own journey as an educator, the struggles that I had. Um, as a black boy in a classroom that didn't look like me, in a community the same, and a teacher the same. So to be able to be intentional about creating diverse spaces that serves the scholar, that serves the community and their families, why I could not be a part of it. And the cultural opportunity as well, the liberatory opportunity as well, to be able to make sure it's culturally relevant,
Mhm.
to make sure that kids see instructors that can connect with their experience, um, either present or in the future, uh, is why we had to take advantage of this partnership with Wildflower, and also the coaching. The school can start now because we're finally getting some of the answers asked now that we had 5 years ago. Being able to make connections with organizations we can only read about, because of being connected to Wildflower, and knowing and learning more, we could have fuller conversations. So, and ultimately modeling our school, ultimately modeling what we want our scholars to be,
Mhm.
um, which are lifetime learners, and using their skills and talents to come back to the community, to serve, and being intentional, developing a pipeline, and really working with the family. So I'm overjoyed, that our sons has been able to develop from an independent dream to be able to expand, in regards to just the understanding of service and what it could look like, through the Montessori lens.
So tell me just a little more. You're planning to open in and around the Chester area in 2025. Am I right about that? Can you give us a little what your hope is to when to launch Our Sons and what you sort of see short term for it and more long term?
Most definitely. Looking to launch in 2025, in the city of Chester. Um, our goal is to, uh, before then, build relationships continue to build and strengthen our relationships in the city of Chester, to understand that we are coming into their community. And our work is to build trust. Like Sunny in our relationship, we had to build trust. We had to spend time together, break bread together, share some grows and glows, and see if those opportunity allowed us to show up for one another. So during this time before the grand opening, we're able to just build relationships, identify those what's the current history? What's the work that's happening?
Mhm.
How can we help? What do you all need? And then see if that aligns, if we are that.
Mhm.
So I'm excited for that future date, but even more excited about the people and the organizations and the memories that will happen before then and after.
And so is it my understanding you're gonna begin with scholars that are 3 to 6, and then you're hoping to add toddler program over time, and
Yeah,
other services? Is that right? Can you tell us a little more about what those would be and what you're sort of imagining beyond the first couple of years for our sons?
most definitely. 3 to 6 is where we're going to start, but we really want to uh, engage the scholar and the family as soon as possible. So
Mhm.
we, through our coaching, through our learning, it would be the best informed decision to start with 3 to 6, and to be able to ensure our full vision, we'll be able to scale it back um, over the first 3 or more years. Ultimately, with 3 to 6 and building back, we want to provide wraparound services
Mhm.
for our scholars and their families. That does not have to be dictated by having an IEP or a learning difference or a 504 or even a gifted IEP. We feel equity and inclusion includes those services. We have to have a two-generational approach as we move forward to ensure the outcomes that we want for our scholars.
Mhm.
Um, and also just ensuring a pipeline for educators as well. If we have a school, we can help teachers. We can expose teachers to the Montessori model in a way that's culturally rich in a community that they want to serve. Um, and that's a part of our biggest dream, to serve scholars from birth to 6 and their families, and also work with those that are passionate, compassionate, um, that and align with the Montessori principles, and also the mission and vision of our son.
Mhm.
And Chester, to me, is a great place. They have a beautiful history of a community that has have great achievements and have pulled together to get through times over history. Exit 6 is has its rich history in Chester. Um, I'm again just looking forward to being in community, and seeing it come to fruition.
How did you get to Wildflower? What made you decide on Wildflower? I know, I'm sure had lots of opportunities to find places for your school and communities to work with. What was it about Wildflower that made you decide it was your place?
One, it was really organic.
Mhm.
It came from my direct community. I finished up a program called Surge,
Mhm.
and one of my Surge fellows was at an event, and they told me about Wildflower. They invited me specifically, Sunny, to come and meet you. They're like, I heard about this model. I got you an extra ticket, Micah. Pull up. And I came, and I see you standing over there
Remember that?
uh, at the high top, and we were on at Sarah Green.
Yeah.
And I was extremely hesitant. I was extremely nervous to share my dream with anyone, to speak about gender equity, inclusion, advocacy, to talk about, ultimately black spaces for education for black and brown people with a stranger that, as we all are different, be- eh, working from my assumptions, right? And I immediately was able to learn about the clear benefits. But Sunny, it really was an opportunity for us to really start to get to know each other.
Mhm.
And it wasn't immediate yes then. I talked to a mentor, and they were like, Mike, it's a great opportunity. You know, um, it will be a great grow opportunity for you to continue in education and development. It's free. And it was like, why would you give up free education? Like, the answer that you've been looking for many times you've had to pay. And they seem to want to work with you depending on if you want to put in the work. And I met Amani and Kareem, who worked at my daughter's school. And it's like, wow, y'all are starting a wildflower school. It was like I couldn't escape the impact, the opportunities that were being offered to my immediate community. And people, when I did my background check, were like, man, Sonny's a great person. Wildflower's a good model. Black Wildflower is an affinity group within it to support those cultural or identity needs or safe spaces that you need, Micah. Um, and I think time just complemented uh, each step,
Mhm.
you know, of questions to be answered, deeper relationships to be built, opportunities to meet other people. And they decided to meet with me, even if I didn't want to continue to move forward in Wildflower. Like I was able to meet people that genuinely cared about our children, where they learn, and the community that we're collectively working to develop together. So um, it wasn't an immediate love affair, but um, it wasn't love at first sight. But I was
Second
able to
slide.
grow. I was able to grow in love, and it's been able to be transferable, not just professionally, but again, personally. Um, Sonny, you and the people you've introduced me to have shown up for me in different ways, and I don't take it for granted.
I sort of maybe had a little bit of a similar experience at first, because it is all, they want to open schools. And if they don't, if folks can't open wildflower schools, but they can move this work forward, it really, that I think is what's celebrated. Because to your point, it's for children, it's for liberation of all. And, it really, can be, very inspiring. So one last question for you. Message for the community at large, for your families that you'll be looking towards. What would you tell them? What message could you even give to new teacher leaders that might be thinking about this work? So I guess it's a two-pronged question. Like,
Mm.
what would you like to share with the folks in the Chester and the surrounding areas about what you're hoping for the future? And what would you like to share for advice for folks that, want to take this leap like you have done?
I just want to say that I'm here to support you. We're connected communities. We may have different area codes and zip codes, or a borough, a city, a township, but there's certain shared life experiences that we just can't escape. And including our diverse communities, our children, uh, their birthright is a quality education. And I want to partner, Isaiah and we want to partner with the city of Chester and the families to support uh, their visions that they have for their children. Uh, we want to support the Upland School District. We want to support the Chester Charter Network. We want the scholars that come from Our Sun Montessori to support the environment. We want them to support the philosophy. We want them just to support the love, the joy, and the sharing of learning from our scholars. And we want to thank you in advance for your trust, because if you decide to partner with us, you have given us one of the most valuable things in your life, which is your young person, and we want to honor it. And I would say to the teachers, and to the families, I would encourage them to know that you all are doing the best you can. Uh, our Sun Montessori is here to help you and your goals and your dreams, even to become a teacher leader, or if it is some other services that you may need, because we know being a parent is not easy. Being a guardian is not easy. There's no handbook, but there is community that we can build.
So true.
Uh, and to our teachers specifically, I challenge them with this quote: that greatness can be defined by the quality of service, not just to yourself, but other people. And as educators, our cup has to be full so we can show up for those that we want to serve. And it's not any monetary amount It's not any acronym in front of your name, but it is about the quality of service to yourself and others. And if you can align with that, again, we look forward to working with you to support you in any way to manifest your definition of greatness. And again, just saying thank you in advance for their trust and allowing us to be a part of their journey as Wildflowers has been a part of ours. Like you said, paying it forward. We want to maintain not just the philosophy of Montessori, but also the principles and the experience of the um, wildflower Montessori specifically. So, um, and we're gonna have some fun. Yeah, I could be very monotone and be very serious because wanted to make sure that people understand, but we're gonna have fun doing it. And I look forward to those shared memories.
Yes, and it should be fun because it
Most
is
definitely.
fun, right? It is fun. It's kids and good work. And to your point, service. I mean, that's fun, you know? Well, thank you. Thank you.